Welcome to another video. So you can see on my last upload, you can see in the top right, I called out ticker CARV at $1.73. Now, if we pull up the chart, you can see this one went from $1.73 all the way to $3.85 at the peak for a massive 125% gainer. My last three plays have went well over 100%. One of these went, 200%. The one before this went 150%. So drop a quick like for me on this video if you are enjoying this content, and make sure you have the notification bell turned on because these plays are extremely time sensitive. But in this video, I'm going to be covering a profitable penny stock with no dilution that did just around $140 million in total revenue last year. This is probably one of the most fundamentally undervalued penny stocks in the entire stock market. You can see they have never conducted a reverse stock split in history, and they haven't really diluted any shares since they hit the public market in around 2022. And this is a stock with a very tiny 1 million share float and on the verge of forming a bullish golden cross. And this is one that has been actually, crashing lately. But the chart is looking like this one is primed for a massive reversal. And they just had their most profitable quarter in a very long time, doing $1.2 million in net income. So this was a record-breaking quarter in regards to that. So this is a play that I believe has a ton of potential here. And make sure you watch this entire video all the way until the end so you don't miss out on any of the important exclusive information I will be discussing later on. The stock I'm talking about for this video is ticker HOUR, Hour Loop Inc., currently trading just over $1 per share. Now, this is a company, you can see straight off the bat that this company did $138 million in total revenue for 2024. Keep in mind, you always add 3 zeros to these numbers. You can see they did actually profit $657,000 in net income. Now, looking at their most recent quarter that just came out, just a few weeks ago, they did $27.1 million in total revenue, and they actually had one of their most profitable quarters in years, it looks like, as they did $1.2 million in net income, doubling their net profit from the previous quarter. And so this is something that the company has been heavily working on. Pretty recently, they actually have an incentivized program where the executives can actually get rewarded for improving their profit margins. So this was really nice to see. And they say that looking forward, they do believe they are well positioned for the second half of the year. Their strengthened operating model gives them flexibility to defend margins or pure growth offensively as conditions evolve. So it looks like they are firing on all cylinders. And it's just really nice to see that they basically had that incentivized program come out around 2 quarters ago. And they've already made substantial improvement with their profit margins. So this is a company that, has never conducted a reverse stock split, like I said. And just looking at something else, you can see that this one does have a true 1.8 million share float. Something else I do want to consider is that they do have 35 million outstanding shares, but the two majority shareholders basically own all of these, around 33 million shares split in half. So just around 15 or 16 million shares plus each. But something that's really positive is that this stock ran to $7 plus in 2024, and none of these insiders have sold. Actually, looking at the SEC filings, it looks like they have never really sold any shares, which is absolutely, very bullish right here. And just considering that this stock is trading at lows right now, around $1 or $1.30 per share, it's very unlikely that they would sell right here. And it's just a really nice setup, guys. Usually when you have very large insider ownership, yes, it is very risky. All these penny stocks are extremely risky. I'm not a financial advisor. I'm just showing you ideas that I think do have potential. At the end of the day, you have to go out and do your own homework and research before looking at any of these guys. But, just considering that they have, 35 million outstanding shares, and, the float is only sitting under 2 million shares, meaning that, these two insiders have locked up the entire, majority of the shares and haven't sold any since they went public in the beginning of 2022 or just around that time period, and they have no dilution filings, haven't diluted any shares. They do have a $45 million market cap, and fundamentally they are severely undervalued just doing this much revenue and being profitable. You won't find another penny stock in the entire market putting up these numbers at this price, okay? So that's just something you almost never see. Looking on the daily chart, you can see right here that we are on the verge of forming a bullish golden cross. You can see the 50-day moving average, if we zoom in, is actually pretty close to this red line, which is the 200-day moving average. So if we do actually come under it and break above it, that would be an extremely bullish setup. I think it's pretty possible that that does happen if this stock does have a reversal. So this one has been selling off for the last few days or the last week on very low volume, guys. So whenever you have that sell off that's on very low volume, it is usually much easier to get back above that initial sell off level. So it does look like it is finally starting to, try to base out right here after this drop. We did have some accumulation going on around 127 down to this 125 area. This average volume for the last 3 months is sitting around 160,000. Free float is sitting at 1.7 million shares, and just looking like a prime reversal setup, considering that they just put out record-breaking financials and this one just had that sell-off. This sell-off was extremely unnecessary in my honest opinion. So I do think this one can have a lot of potential to the upside from this current level, guys. So Hourloop is an online retailer engaged in e-commerce retailing in the United States market. It is operated as a third-party seller on Amazon.com and has sold merchandise on its website, hourloop.com, since 2013, and they further expanded their operations to other marketplaces such as Walmart. Keep in mind, this is a massive, one of the biggest retailers in the entire world. They also expanded to other marketplaces, including eBay and Etsy, and I believe among many others. Their product categories include home and garden decor, toys, kitchenware, apparel, and electronics, among many other items. They do have advanced software that assists the company in identifying product gaps. And this is they actually implement artificial intelligence, I do believe, into this strategy and the software. But this software basically identifies product gaps, like I said, so it can keep such products in stock year round, including the entirety of the last quarter, the holiday season of the calendar year. This is pretty big right here because they go on to say that in upcoming years, Hourloop does in fact plan to expand its business rapidly by increasing the number of business managers, vendors, and SKUs. So they are looking for very aggressive growth. Another reason I really do like this company, especially right now, is because yes, they just achieved one of their best quarters in history, or just in a very long time at least, but historically, the second half of the year is, always when they put up the most numbers. So you can see in 2024, just for that quarter alone, for the, Q4 2024, they did $54.4 million in total revenue. So, Q4 is always historically when they put up the most numbers. And keep in mind, we are in the second half of the year whenever this company does put out their best numbers. So that's another reason I am bullish on HOUR. It looks like historically, Q3 is their second best quarter, and then going into the end of the year in Q4, that is historically, like I keep saying, always their best quarter. This is due to the peak holiday season around this time period. They do sell a ton of Christmas items and holiday items. So that is why you tend to see Q4 really blowing away the other quarters. In mind, they just recently implemented a new strategic model to help their business out, and we do have potential or expected interest rate cuts coming very soon, which could further boost their entire business and their sales. So something else to realize is they have actually performed or been outperforming under the new tariffs, and it looks like they are just only getting started going into the peak holiday seasons. Looking on their website, you can see they offer a large, diversified lineup of different items, including office products, candles, electronics, and much more. And they are very holiday oriented. So whenever we get to the, Christmas and other holidays, you will see a ton of Christmas products and stuff like that. They do sell a majority of their items through Amazon. But either way, guys, that's all I really have for ticker HOUR. Let me know in the comments what you think about this play, any other plays you're watching, and I will see you on the next video.